This week from GNC Week in Review, powered by GeekNewsCentral.com. Apple launched devices and products. Amazon Music is launching podcasts. And if you have an AT&T phone, would you be interested in ads for a $5 discount? Those are some of the tech news stories from this week, and it's Friday, September 18th, 2020. My name is Kirk Corliss, along with...
And I'm Scott Ertz.
And this episode 71 of the GNC Week in Review podcast, part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode. We are streaming live at gncweekly.com/live, as well as Facebook Live. So please be sure to say hello in chat or comment. Also be sure to like and subscribe to the GNC WIR channel on YouTube. If you missed the live video, that's okay. You can always catch the replay later. If you are a listener, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast, where you can find in the right-hand side column at gncweekly.com, be it Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. If you have a comment, be it on social media or email, and that all can be found at gncweekly.com/connect. Before we get into the Apple, there's a plethora of tech news, Apple news, PS5 news, Microsoft news, a lot of stuff that's going on this week, but the top story this week, and this broke early this morning or this afternoon, I believe, where we're going to preface this, it's not political. I'm by no means going to be political, but I have some really strong feelings about this. We'll get that in a second. So, and I'm sure Scott does as well. So we're going to move things around a little bit on the rundown. So this is reported from a lot of tech news sites and also GeekNewsCentral.com. So here's what's latest. The United States Department of Commerce announced a prohibition on transactions related to mobile apps, WeChat, and TikTok. This has been done in response to President Trump's executive orders that were signed on August 6, 2020. The action by the Department of Commerce describes the decision as one made, quote, to safeguard the national security of the United States. This is a small piece of the announcement from the Department of Commerce. Quote, while the threats posed by WeChat and TikTok are not identical, they are similar. Each collects vast swaths of data from users, including network activity, location data, and browsing and search history. Each is an active participant in China's civil-military fusion and is subject to mandatory cooperation with the intelligence services of the CCP. This combination results in the use of WeChat and TikTok are creating unacceptable risks to our national security. As of September 20th, which is this coming Sunday morning at midnight, the following transactions are prohibited. Any provision of service to distribute or maintain the WeChat or TikTok mobile applications, constituent code or application updates to an online mobile application store in the U.S., any provision of services through the WeChat mobile application for the purpose of transferring funds or processing payments within the U.S. As of Sunday, WeChat, and as of November 12, 2020, for TikTok, the following transactions, the following transactions are prohibited. Any provision of internet hosting services enabling the functioning or optimization of the mobile application in the U.S., any provision of content delivery network services enabling the functioning or optimization, of the mobile application in the U.S., any provision directly contracted or arranged internet transit or peering services enabling the function or optimization of the mobile application in the U.S., and any utilization of the mobile application's constituent code functions or services in the functioning of software or services developed and or accessible within the U.S. So here's my take. This is my opinion, and I know, and if Scott could talk me down if I'm wrong, but I don't believe any government, be it what side of the aisle it is, Republican, Democrat, whomever, no government should tell me what app I should use or not. I can see regulation maybe, but if you don't want the app, you want to lose your location or anything of that nature from one spectrum to the other, don't use the app. Don't download it. I don't get why the government. And again, I'm not being political, and please, if talk me down, gncweekly.com/connect. If there's something that that I'm not seeing. I don't get it. That's something I don't really. This is really like frustrating because when I saw this in the news, and I'm like, what? What?
Yeah. So, okay. So I am, and people who know me generally know that this is the case for me. And I apologize. I'm still trying to get all of my stuff comfortable here in the studio.
It's okay.
I will be making adjustments probably for weeks during the show. So I apologize.
It's brand new studio. No, don't worry about it.
I am generally opposed to government interference in business. The only exception that I allow for that is national security stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is legitimately national security based, then I'm behind it. There are certainly aspects of it that are concerns that are publicly facing. There are likely things behind the scenes that we do not know about, that currently they're not allowed to disclose. I don't know what they might be, but this is a really drastic move in a relationship that's already fragile. The US-China relationship is fragile. This is a big move. And so it seems like there would have to be something more behind it than what we know. Because if there's not, it's bonkers. But if there is, then I'm generally okay with it. We know, for example, that Huawei has had keyloggers on devices. We know that Huawei has had special chipsets in devices to track communications and send them back to the Chinese government. So, companies with strong relationships to the Communist Party of China have exhibited espionage features before. So, with that said, both TikTok and WeChat have strong relationships with the Chinese Communist Party. So there could legitimately be espionage aspects to these products. Am I aware of any? No. Was the fact that TikTok was constantly scanning the clipboard on your iPhone massively concerning? Yes. Was that enough to get us where we are? No. But I do know that for almost 2 years, there has been investigations into TikTok and Musical.ly before, because the Federal Trade Commission filed and won a $165 million suit against TikTok / Musical.ly for the way it was handling data, particularly children's data. So there has been concerns about TikTok / Musical.ly for years. This isn't a new thing. But I do think that the clipboard thing pushed it over the edge. I think that was the match that lit the powder keg, but I think that powder keg has been filling up for years.
But that goes back to, as far as the location data, and so that goes back to the location data. If you feel that concerned about, and this podcast recommended, that's why there's different things that, in the do you help with the tech segment, ways to turn off the location permissions. F5 Live, you guys talk about that extensively.
Yeah.
Geek News Central, since I'm EP, and Todd recommend, and I make sure that we get as much information as possible to protect yourself. And very important stuff. And that's why, the goal of this podcast, Geek News Central, F5 Live on Tech Podcast Network, is to provide information, keep it entertaining also. but my whole thing is that, again, it goes back to my concern is that if it's all about, if it's, again, the government should not tell me, again, I'm not being political, please, if, I'm not putting this on one blame on one political party or the other. So please, if folks don't put it, if you read into that, then
honest to God, I think you're going straight down the middle here. I think you're okay.
Okay, good. Thanks. That's why I want to make sure. But my whole thing is that I don't think that a government should tell me what app I can or cannot use. I mean, you had the congressional hearings with Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google in front of Congress about what they do as far as their company is concerned, and some of these folks in Congress absolutely have no clue how things work.
Oh yeah,
but
we've got a guy who was afraid that if we sent more military to Guam, the island would tip over.
Right. Thank you. Holy heck.
Yeah. I mean, we do not have the smartest people in there. There's in an episode of Parks and Rec, they were coming to Ben to run for the House of Representatives. He goes, I don't think I'm qualified. And she's like, I think you're overqualified.
Right. So, I mean, that goes back to, again, I use like a lot of apps, and there's a plethora of people that use apps as well. I mean, TikTok, I mean, a couple weeks ago, in the last, I know you were on it, but there was a guy that went to a Krispy Kreme, glazed a donut 25 times, and it got like millions of views on TikTok. I mean, I've seen TikTok videos, and I think they're hilarious. I really do.
Sure. There's a lot of comedy and stuff on there. It's the new Vine.
Right. Exactly. But honestly, I honestly don't believe if you want to use TikTok, that's great. But I just don't think that a government should tell people that it's going to be banned. It's like, that's crazy. That is, I don't get that. That's what I don't understand, why all the things that are going on in this world. And it's a crazy time right now. I mean, sure. plethora of time. And I hope you guys, hope you're safe in Florida because of the hurricane and everything. You are
barely rained. We're fine.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm glad, because I was going to reach out to you.
Tampa's always fine.
Good. Okay.
we always joke that that we're protected by all the hot air coming out of the St. Pete City Council.
But I'm bummed. Good. Okay.
We've been joking about that since the 80s. last time we had a serious hurricane threat here was 84.
Okay. Good. I'm glad because I that's what good. But in hindsight, there's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. I mean, crazy things going on in this world.
Sure.
But this is something that the Congress should be focused on. Other important things, national security. I totally agree 100%. More funding for schools, and getting more various other things that are more important in this country than focusing on this app. That's just. I'm sorry. That's just really that's ridiculous. I mean, again,
and again, I am almost always on the side of the government can back off.
Right.
That is my resting heart rate, is the government can go away. But this is essentially a product, maybe not owned, but certainly operated closely through the Chinese government, which has had cybersecurity attacks against us, has had all kinds. So, I mean, if they wanted to use phones as a botnet, TikTok and WeChat might be a way to do it. There's all kinds of possibilities on things that we don't know might exist within this software, or might have happened. For all we know, one of these cyber attack botnets from the Chinese may have happened through one of these apps, and they can't announce that.
Okay.
There's a lot of possible issues here. And
Mhm.
the issue, in fairness, on TikTok, the issues did not start when it became a Chinese product.
Mhm. Right.
It was a security and privacy disaster
Right.
when it was American, when it was Musically. They
Right.
were spying on children.
Mhm.
Terrifying.
Right.
They were blatantly breaking the law. And then the Chinese government's like, yeah, that's something we want to get involved in. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So there are definitely red flags. I feel Avram has said a number of times. Interestingly, somebody just sent me a link to a TikTok. Honestly, Travis, if you're watching this, that is hysterical. Anyway, what? Yeah. So there's all kinds of potential problems here that we may not know about.
Right.
TikTok makes me uncomfortable anyway because of their relationship with the Chinese government. When you're dealing with data being controlled by a foreign entity,
right,
it's already weird. But when that entity is actively trying to sabotage the U.S. economy and infrastructure, it gets even more concerning. Which is why Huawei was banned from our cellular infrastructure, because they were actively trying to sabotage our infrastructure.
Right.
There was a ban on Huawei phones in the government going all the way back to the beginning of Obama's second term. So almost 8 years that ban's been in place. We've known that they've been using consumer products as espionage products. So, there might be things we don't know about. If there's not, and Avram, that's what I was going to say. Avram has said several times, if there is legitimate reason, release it. It's time. Release it. Tell us why this is happening. No vague, CNN style scary nonsense. Give us facts, give us information. This is why we had to do it. If you say that, you'll get, and it's legit, you'll get our buy-in. But you're right. Right now, it's hard to give buy-in because it is all this high-level generic fear-monger type wording, that I'm not a fan of, no matter who it's from. But we do know that the executive branch is required to hold certain information back, and that might be involved here. We don't know.
Yeah, that's something to definitely have to look into. And again, when I was working on the rundown, and I was like happy with a lot of news. I'm still happy, with a lot of news. Got a lot of announcements, and we'll get that in shortly. But when I saw this broke, it broke like literally like every media outlet, from one media outlet to the other.
Yeah, everybody from CNN and MSNBC to Fox News and Engadget, everybody touched this. Yeah, because this is going to affect a lot of people. Not immediately. The WeChat one, which was a surprise, not a surprise today, but a surprise in August. The WeChat inclusion is what makes me think there's more that we don't know about. Because that was a surprise. Everybody knew TikTok was coming, but WeChat was a surprise, which makes me think that there's more information that we're not aware of, possibly that it was involved in a botnet. But WeChat is the primary communication platform for the Chinese people. And therefore, it's the primary communication platform for people who want to communicate with the Chinese people. I may have mentioned on this show, it might have been F5 Live, I don't remember, when I was dealing with the monster luminescence issue, I was speaking with the head of the foreman of the manufacturing facility through WeChat, because that is the way they communicate. So I downloaded and installed WeChat on a private device, because I've never trusted WeChat. Personally, I've never trusted it, which gets it, because I'm a privacy person. I install as little as possible, and it is a fully Chinese owned product. and Tencent basically is the government. So WeChat is its own level of concern for me. But I grabbed a device that wasn't anything. I installed it and I was talking with the guy. That's how important it is. This one, the fact that there's no turnaround on it. Not only is it banned from download in 27 hours, it is also banned from operation in 27 hours.
Right.
TikTok is banned from download in 27, but it's got another 2 months before operations are banned. Big difference.
Right. And they're going to, and also they're going to lose. So basically with people that have it now, because I don't have it, nor do I have WeChat. So basically if you're on TikTok right now or what have you, enjoy it while you can for the next, 24, 40.
Well, 2 months.
2 months. Sorry. 2 months.
You won't be able to download it in 27 hours.
Okay.
But if you already have it downloaded, operation shut down November 12th.
Got it. Okay. I got the
download. But operations for WeChat go away Sunday morning too.
Right.
Which is the big difference. That's why you pointing out those dates earlier on was important. September 20th, Sunday, is the end of WeChat in US, period. Gone. Can't download, can't send money, cannot use.
Right.
But TikTok, you'll still be able to use it if you already have it. Just like Fortnite on iPhone. If you've got it installed, you're fine. But if you don't,
that's a whole different.
Well, interestingly, Tencent is also involved in Epic Games, which is why.
Okay.
Which is why that's a fascinating situation.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing. Fortnite will work until a certain date on iPhone, but you can't download it today, which is why we talked a couple weeks ago. iPhones with Fortnite installed were going
right.
thousands. An iPhone 6 with Fortnite installed was going for like $2,200 or something.
Right.
12,000. Yep. There was one for 12,000. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I was like, that's
craziness,
insane. But again,
TikTok is going to be the same thing. You're going to see people do the exact same thing with TikTok. There will be phones pre-installed that people are going to try and eBay is going to pull the listings down just like they did with the Fortnite phones.
Yep. Well, so basically, I don't want to go too far down. We don't want to go down too far down the proverbial rabbit hole, but if anyone, if you folks out, listeners and viewers, feel this is wrong, right, indifferent, want to tell me to, go pound sand, or having other opinions, let us know. GNCweekly.com/connect, because
we're very interested. Like we're very interested in what you guys have to say about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this is going to affect people's livelihoods. I mean, I don't think that being a TikTok influencer is really a thing, but no. So I don't necessarily care that job is about to go away, because I don't think it provides value to the world. But people are going to lose money. There's a lot coming here, but there's also a lot of alternates. Instagram has their clone already. There's a number of alternates. I think Engadget has five WeChat replacements and 5 TikTok replacements that work as well or better. I think we're going to see more innovation come if this actually comes to fruition, because I think we're going to see companies who couldn't compete before because TikTok owned the space come in and do interesting things. TikTok came about because of Musical.ly came about because Vine failed.
Right.
And if it hadn't been for Vine failing, we wouldn't have all these interesting concepts. And I think TikTok has grown to that point, to that Facebook point, where nobody else can get, even Google couldn't get a social network off the ground because everybody was already at Facebook. I think if TikTok goes away, I think we'll see innovation and creative ideas come about in the space. You'll see clones. You'll always see clones.
Right.
But I think you'll see new and interesting ideas come about too, just like what Musical.ly did when Vine went away.
Mm.
So it might be good. In the end, it might be good. The Chinese government won't be involved, and we'll have the same or better capabilities. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, definitely things will. We'll see. I'm pretty sure people will like. It'll be like a flash in the pan, and it'll move on. But this won't go away anytime soon. So
No.
I would like to.
There's going to be lawsuits.
Oh, absolutely. So what's going to happen? So what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye on this, and I'm pretty sure that F5 you guys, you and Abram, going to definitely, definitely look explore this as well.
We threw out the top of our rundown on Sunday because Sunday, an hour before the show, Oracle announced intentions to purchase U.S. operations, and the Chinese government after the show said nope.
Mm-hmm.
Unexpected. So we talked the whole first 10 minutes of our show about Oracle buying TikTok. By the time the show was over, it wasn't happening.
Right. Because I was like, it broke literally within an hour. It was an hour. It was an hour, right? Okay. Yeah, I saw
almost exactly an hour before we went live. And so was the second one, the second topic that we had changed. Right. ARM.
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA buying ARM. That happened 90 minutes before the show. Our whole show got screwed up on Sunday.
So I believe, but it was good because, because when I was working on it, because what I do, for us, for the rundown, I gather all the news, in less than a couple seconds. So when I was doing, I was like all prepared and everything, I'm ready to go, and I was late getting this up and running, and this was my fault, and I apologize, and I'll tell Scott a little bit later. But anyway, so when I was compiling everything together, and it was a lot of news, and I really like trying to get everything in, because with the week's news, we gather all the news from the week, and this news broke this. I think it was late morning, early afternoon. I think it happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was scrambling, and I'm like. So I was trying to shuffle things around. So I wanted to put this in the forefront because report it on what happened, but also discuss, get our take on it, and so. But we're going to keep an eye on this, and more to follow, more to come, as I say. All right. In other news, this was supposed to be the top story this week, but. All right, so Apple.
How'd that work out for you?
Right, right. I know, right? All right, so here's what happened elsewhere in the news. Now, Apple held its Time Flies event. you name for an event.
Yeah, it was very watch centric.
Watch centric, yep. But they announced some products and services. Not the iPhone, which comes up in probably next month. So first, they according to the news, they unveiled a new iPad Air that looks very similar to the iPad Pro. Last year's Air has thick top and bottom bezels and a button for Touch ID. This new iPad Air has much thinner bezels all around the display. Apple says the new iPad Air will be available next month in 5 colors: silver, space gray, rose gold, green, and sky blue, priced from $599.
Why do they always make only their low-end products in cool colors? Apple, seriously, did you learn nothing from Nokia? We all want cool colors. Mm-hmm. Give me that weird sky blue. I swear to God, I would. All of my Nokia phones were in various shades of blue. I would do it again if you guys would give me that ability. The closest they've ever done outside of their low-end devices is the green, which is almost not green on the iPhone 11.
Well, there is a rumor flying around that's been circulating that the sky blue is going to be on the new iPhone,
but it'll probably only be the low end.
Mm-hmm. Probably. But whatever reason, I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. I haven't actually. I'm not, excuse me. I scratched that. I have one, but it's a iPhone 6S. Yeah, it's in gray. So
Yeah, because there were no colors available back then.
no, there wasn't. But for some reason, I noticed a lot of people like dig either the rose gold and not many of the green, but for whatever reason, like rose gold and the silver, from what I've seen in the wild, that's like the top ones. And
the green was the first one to sell out on the 11 Pro.
Right. Yep.
Mostly because they didn't make many of them, but also because people are tired of black, silver, and white phones. Give me something interesting. Tablets too. Give me something interesting.
So
see, Travis
Paris says on video, I would get an iPhone if their high-end phones had better colors.
Yeah, see?
Yep. Welcome to Scott's camp. Thank you.
I have a box of candy-colored Nokia phones. I'm a big fan of having something that stands out.
Mhm.
And so the iPad Air, great. I'm also glad that the iPad Air is not a kid's toy anymore. It's a super powerful thing. It's got Apple Pencil support. They move the Touch ID to the power button, which is mostly a great idea. Sometimes I want to turn the screen on without unlocking the device. So maybe not the best, but it's better than still having to have a thing down at the bottom or whatever. It's, they're figuring it out.
It's starting at $600. That's
instead of like $299.
OMG. That's
but it worked. Here's the thing. Honest to God, this version of the iPad Air is kind of like an iPad Pro Lite.
And
really.
That's what we're going to talk on the news on the various tech sites throughout, that it's similar to that or close to it.
Yeah, because it's got the pencil support. It's got the Magic Keyboard support. Basically it's an iPad Pro. It's a little smaller, a little underpowered, but I mean, it's got a lot of the capabilities of the Pro. It even finally switched to USB-C. Hopefully we will see the iPhone 12 or whatever they're going to call this next one.
Right,
do it too, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's the also they're all switching to USB-C. It'll support
except the phone,
right?
Won't happen,
right? And it'll support 20-watt charging and 50 gigabyte data transfer. Wi-Fi 6 also included, and optional LTE model will be available. I think
Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6. This is one of the first devices, consumer devices on the market with Wi-Fi 6. Good on them for not screwing around, to switching the chipset out now and going for Wi-Fi 6, because it's going to make everything better. We've seen Wi-Fi 6 in action. I did a VR demo entirely in Wi-Fi 6, and I couldn't believe it was Wi-Fi. It is so fast. It is so stable. It's massively impressive.
I haven't purchased. I haven't gotten an iPad at all. But I would love to. Oh, for $600, that's. I would love to get it, but see, I have my tablet that I use is an Amazon Fire, and and I love it. And if if they can bring the iPad Pro costs for a little bit less, I would jump on it. But that's a lot. That's
that's
why
it's
high quality. But
honestly, it's why I tend to stick in the Surface space, because you can get a Go for like $299, and it's Surface Pen capable.
Okay,
it's hard to beat that. Although Apple seems to be trying, because now they've got this middle tier that's also Apple Pencil capable. So I mean, they're definitely bringing it down, right? They're bringing those capabilities down from just their Pro model. Now we're seeing it in the middle, and then the next thing we'll see is at some point maybe it'll come to the standard iPad, the true consumer device. We'll see.
And so the other news, they also announced the Apple Watch SE. The device starts at $279. Selling models are at $329. It's available right now. Also, the Apple Watch Series 6 has a built-in accelerometer, gyroscope, altimeter, as well as sleep tracking, fall detection, and hand washing detection. Good on that.
Which is so funny. Avram and I have talked on the show so many times. He wanted to do a project about how do you create an automatic hand washing timer. And Apple came out and said, here's how we did it.
Right. Hold my beer.
we use the motion sensors in the watch and the microphone to listen for water to hear when it turns off. I'm like, wow, those are some of the things that Avram and I talked about, but he wanted to do it with an Arduino that you didn't have to wear. Mm-hmm. Okay, but those were some of the things we talked about too. That's kind of cool. We were on the right path.
Right. So, and I think that Apple owes you guys a couple of millions of dollars.
Maybe they were listening. I can't imagine they listen. Considering the things we say about them, there's no way Apple listens to us.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever got, or you, or probably anyone else gotten a Apple press pass or an invite. So
no.
See?
They stopped inviting Avram to stuff. Now, they only invite Mark Spoonhour now.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, they're like, we're just going to do this on the sly. Other news, also they announced Apple Fitness Plus. This is a fitness training subscription that Apple claims will introduce new workout videos every week. Apple Fitness Plus has also been designed to work with the Apple Watch, where you can start a workout video. It'll sync with your Apple Watch, where you're able to check your health stats on the screen, like heart rate and so on. So for an example, if you're watching a fitness video, the trainer might ask you to check your heart rate, and the heart rate text on the screen will get bigger to highlight it.
Which is a cool capability. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that was kind of missing from Xbox Fitness. Though I will point out that we've had these things before, and they have not always succeeded, even from big companies like Microsoft. And Xbox Fitness had free stuff in it, and it still didn't. It still couldn't attract people. So there's a lot of potential for failure here, but they've kind of set themselves up for a success because they've got other services on the horizon.
Right. But also too, I think with the pandemic, a lot of gyms in some areas of the country are closed.
True.
So it's a good fit. Now they are announcing that it's being priced at $79.99 a month or $79.99 a year. It can be found on the fitness app. Apple Fitness Plus can be found in the fitness app on the iPhone and iPad. So I'm not really up on fitness, but goes back to a lot of the Apple's really bring things home, in full circle, including speaking of bringing things in full circle. If I can go back to, where this is wrapping up the Apple news. There've been talk about the Apple bundle several months, and there's been many rumors. Now they have announced that Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, Apple News Plus, and iCloud storage is combining into a Apple One bundle. There are 3 types of bundles: individual, family, and Premier. The individual plan gives subscribers Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and iCloud storage, 50 gigs for $14.95 a month. The family plan includes the same apps, but with 200 gig of iCloud storage for $19.95 a month.
But importantly, is also available to more than one user.
Right.
The family plan. Mm-hmm. That's a big change for just that $5. Yes, you get 4 times the storage, but you can also have more people on the plan, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So your family can go in together and all get access to Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, Apple Arcade. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the Premier plan gives subscribers Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, 2 terabytes of iCloud storage, OMG, Apple News Plus, and the newly announced Apple Fitness plan for $29.95 a month. Fitness Plus is we talked about a second ago. Includes training. And also the Apple One purchases come with a 30-day free trial for apps that people don't have already. This is from their press release. Customers will be charged once a month for all services that are included in that bundle, and they can change or cancel the plan on any time. This is what Scott alluded to earlier. Customers who choose either the family or Premier plans can have up to 6 family members. Apple One will be available starting this fall in over 100 countries and regions. So I think this is great.
This is where Fitness Plus succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
Is through that when I said they've got other subscriptions coming. This is what I meant. This is what makes Fitness Plus a possibility, because you can get your whole family access to their own accounts on Fitness Plus for $29 a month, up to 6 people. Plus, with the iPhone SE or the Apple Watch SE, you can get an Apple Watch with the fitness capabilities for inexpensive, and they can be controlled by for somebody without an iPhone, which is a big new thing. You used to have it paired to your own iPhone, but now there's this family feature so that a parent can have an SE for their kid without having to give them a phone. So now you've got fitness and the watch for far less than it would have been, previously. I think there's room for success here. I don't know if there will be. It might be Apple TV. Which is massively struggling.
Well,
this might fix that too.
Right. Well, that's where I was going to say that I don't have Apple. I'm not in the Apple ecosystem, more the Google ecosystem, and Amazon. We'll get that in a second. But I can't see if I were to be an Apple customer. I can't. We talked about this in an earlier podcast a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I think, about Apple News Plus and inquiring about why would I choose the app, for news when I can there's a plethora of other resources and content available to me at no cost.
Right.
So
MSN News, for example.
There you go. So, and also with Apple TV Plus, again, there's not much content that I saw a couple that I wanted to see. The morning show. I'm a big Steve Carell fan.
It was decent.
Okay.
It wasn't a Steve Carell show.
Right. No, I know. I was kind of like, I was fascinated because I love how television news works and everything like that. And I'm fascinated with that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of series I wanted to see, but
then you want to watch The Newsroom from HBO.
Seen it.
And Sports Night from ABC.
Seen that too. They're great shows. Great shows.
Yeah. Because this doesn't give you any behind the scenes. It is not realistic at all.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely TV dramatization of nonsense.
Right. Yeah, the reviews from what I saw were hit and miss. So, but for me, if to purchase that amount for these services, is it really worth my money?
No.
And for me, it's not. So.
Yeah, there were 2 shows that I was looking forward to. One was the morning show, which was a huge disappointment, and the other one was Central Park, which was an even bigger disappointment.
Central Park. Why does that sound familiar?
Lauren Bouchard, Bob's Burgers, Home Movies.
Okay.
Lucy, Daughter of the Devil.
That's what I was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Lauren Bouchard, and there was even more. Promised to be even more music. It was well cast and yet still massively boring. How you can have Kristen Bell and Titus Burris in a show together and make it boring is beyond me. but they figured it out.
Mm-hmm. And it was boring.
Oh God, I'm so bad.
Mm. Let's see, there you go. All right. In other news this week, which is really exciting, and I'm definitely going to make sure that our podcast gets on it. Amazon Music now offers podcasts. The company issued an update that brings more than 70,000 shows to the platform, including some major titles like Serial and Pod Save America, as well as new exclusive deals like a show with DJ Khaled called The First One, where he'll interview artists about their breakthrough hits and the story behind them. Disgraceland, a popular show from iHeartMedia, will also become exclusive to the platform starting in February 2021. Say that 5 times real fast. Podcasts can be listened to through the updated Amazon Music app on the web or on Amazon Echo devices. Echo devices will search Amazon Music by default and remember where listeners left off, regardless of what platform they use to listen. Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Amazon will be selling ads for its shows, though it's unclear that DJ Khaled and other hosts will be reading ads, and the paid subscribers will hear these ads like Spotify. I'm going to submit our podcast to the Amazon Music feed, so when it is up and running, I will definitely we'll let you know when I'll be in Amazon, when you can listen to Amazon. I mean, there's all the various podcast apps, Google, Apple, and so on and so on and so on and so on.
And you can always, and on Echo devices, you can already listen to podcasts if they're on TuneIn.
Oh, there you go. That's right. You're right.
So this isn't a huge ad for Echo devices, but it is a huge ad for people in the Amazon ecosystem. One of the concerns that I have is what the selling ads means. Because obviously if they're selling ads on our show, nope.
Right.
All of the Plug Hits live shows are already listed. But if they start running their ads on my show, they're coming down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I know that with Amazon Music, I know with Prime, I'm trying to think, because I have Amazon Prime, and I believe I have, I do have subscriptions to Amazon Music. Yeah, I do. So
the full Amazon Music or the Amazon Prime Music?
The Amazon,
the extra $4 a month, or
yes,
the one that's free with it? Okay,
it's extra. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. So I'm just figuring the thing.
It's normally $9.99 a month, but if you're a Prime subscriber, you get it for $4.
Yeah,
I know all kinds of things about these services.
As you do. Yep. hashtag sponsor. Yeah. Yeah, it is big, but honestly, because I am in the Amazon ecosystem. I use Amazon Play, Amazon Music, literally morning, noon, and night. So I listen to podcasts on Podcast Addict on my Fire. But since this is on there, I'm gonna through all the podcasts I listen to, including mine, or excuse me, ours, and Plug Us Live, etc., and Geek News Central, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it, full time. I'm all in. That's why I was excited when I saw this. I'm like, this is great, but I forgot tune in. You can get on the Echo. So you're right. I totally forgot about that. But okay,
that's okay. Most people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that like I tell people all the time. I'm like, oh, you can listen. You can just say, "Hey, girl's name." Play Geek News Central, and it'll kick over to TuneIn and start playing it automatically.
Okay.
And most people don't know that. I literally tell people that all the time.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Because I knew about TuneIn, but I didn't know you can listen through Amazon. Okay, so I learned something. That's good enough. Cool. All right.
And GNC, just as a note, I just checked. GNC is on. The main GNC feed is already on here.
On the Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Great.
I'm looking for us now.
Okay, good. Okay. Because I checked.
No.
Yes. Okay.
They sent out an email a while back.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
It's okay. It just means we weren't there for launch. It's no big deal. They're still
Okay.
doing approvals.
Good.
It'd
Okay.
be crazy to stop. Like, nope, we've already launched. No new shows.
Right.
Despite the fact that there are like 300 new shows listed on Apple every day,
Mhm.
probably like some crazy, ridiculous number where it'd be crazy to go, nope, we've already launched. That's good. Catalog complete.
Right. All right, cool beans. All right, so so definitely check out the podcast and podcasts on Amazon. All right, other news this week. AT&T CEO John Stankey, and this guy's name, poor guy, said
Middle school was a pain for him.
What was his middle name again?
I don't know. No, middle school.
Oh, middle school.
Middle school was a real pain for that poor guy.
Oh, I thought you said middle. Duh. But I'm okay. Sorry. I'm still like my head's like kind of. All right, never mind. Okay, all right. All right. Anyway, all right. He said the company may offer cell phone plans subsidized by advertising, giving customers monthly discounts of $5 or $10 in exchange for ads on their phones. He said in a interview with Reuters, "Quote: I believe that a segment of our customer base, when given a choice, they will take some load of advertising. Yes, some load of advertising for $5 to $10 reduction in their mobile bill." According to Reuters, Sankey said the AT&T's ad-supported phone plans could be introduced in, quote, a year or two. AT&T is already doing back-end work in its targeted advertising system that could increase the value of such plans to AT&T's ad sale business. Stankey also he says that a planned ad-supported HBO version of HBO Max will play an important role in ad-supported phone plans, but according to Reuters, he didn't offer further details. My whole thing is I don't care if it's a $5 discount, 10, 20. There's so many ad-supported streaming devices, streaming networks, with Hulu, HBO Max. Every platform you can think of has some type of ad supported. I don't want one on my phone. I'm sorry.
You may not be the target demographic though. It could be people who currently have to have highly subsidized phones, the ironically named Obama phone, even though Bush is who created that program, but whatever. I was selling phones when it came around. These highly subsidized plans and things like that, where you only get maybe a couple 100 minutes, or no choice on data, things like that. If you could find a middle ground, that could be a whole lot better for you.
Right.
And so at Collision 2019, we interviewed a company called AiroLife, AIRO.life, and they have a product called Be Free, which is an entirely free, entirely ad-supported cell phone plan. Initially targeted at Canada because Canadian cell phone prices make ours look affordable. And so they started with Canada, and they're going to be launching down here. And there's a lot of demand for it. It's not for me. I will do a review on the product when it makes it to the US. But it's not for me. But it's for a lot of people.
Right.
I'm just not the target demographic. And with AT&T, it's the exact same thing. I'm not there. I'm not the target demographic for this because, like you said, I'm inundated by enough ads every day,
right?
Including my own. But so I'm not looking for more. But if it makes your life a little better, makes your life a little easier, okay. I think there's a place in the market for it.
Okay. Well,
there were companies that had tried it before without success, but I think smartphones were too early at the time to be able to pull it off.
Right.
And it's always cheap phones. It is always cheap phones. And that's the thing that Aerolife and maybe AT&T will fix, is that Aerolife is using a flagship phone, like a good quality phone. They're giving you the phone, they're giving you the service. You just have ads on your device. Okay.
Yeah.
For somebody who's usually getting a Samsung A series phone or a J series phone, and they can get an S or a Note, that's for free. That's a huge benefit to them, possibly.
And I would like to know from the folks listening or watching the live video right now, if you're interested in a discount for ads. It could be $5, it could be $10 more. Let us know, gncweekly.com/connect, because I'm kind of curious. I know that you and I are the, small exception for the moment, but there are some people that want to save money. There are some companies that, the company I work for, if you enroll in AutoPay, you get a discount for $5. There's some people, and there's also some that will not only have the $5 discount for AutoPay, but if you want to go completely electronic billing, you get another discount. So, I mean, $5 or 10, what have you, may seem not much, but it helps.
But if you can auto enroll and get 5 off, digital billing, get 5 off, have an ad supported phone and get 5 or 10 off. I mean, you're looking at $20 off your plan. I mean,
right.
that could be a huge difference in your day. So,
absolutely. But I think
nickels and dimes can add up.
Oh, absolutely. You're right.
They just take longer.
You're absolutely right. But I think for me, and I know you, again, because I have Hulu, I have the Hulu Premium, YouTube Premium. I have that. Amazon, CBS All Access. We're going to get to the CBS All Access in a second, because holy moly. That's something that I'm like really like, what?
I think the new name is way better.
Okay, and I'm going to wonder why in a second, but we'll get that in a little bit into the video streaming news. In the meantime, there's other AT&T news. AT&T also has a new Netgear 5G hotspot. It's called the Netgear Nighthawk 5G mobile hotspot. The device will be available today for $510 or $17 per month on a 30-month installment plan.
Jesus Christ.
I know. It's $100 more than the Verizon Wireless one. The new Nighthawk will be able to access AT&T's full 5G portfolio, including its nationwide low-band service, as well as the fastest millimeter wave 5G network that is available in parts of 35 cities. Powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 X55 mobile platform. The puck-shaped device includes a touchscreen, a 5040 milliamp battery, and can broadcast up to 32 devices at once over the Wi-Fi 6 standard. Ports include USB-C and Ethernet if you want to connect directly to the hotspot to a device. Hotspot plans start at 15 gigs of data for $60 a month, or 35 gigs of data. I know, $85 a month. You can save $10 per month if you want to sign up for automatic payments and paperless billing. Speaking of about saving money, there is, however, an overage fee of $10 for each additional 2 gigs of data, but if you go over the chosen allotment. So, wow, great device, but it goes back to 5G is not available in a lot of areas. But
yeah,
whoa.
Okay, so. Wow. Here are our big ups.
Mm-hmm.
1, it's Netgear. 2, it's Nighthawk branded. Netgear does not put that brand on things lightly. Nighthawk is their like super powerful high-end devices. So that's impressive that they've put the Hawk brand on there. Wi-Fi 6, hooray. And hardwire, which was one of the things that we were excited about. And the
Verizon.
The one from Verizon had USB-C. This one also has Ethernet.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't have to bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray! So you could literally Ethernet to a switch if you wanted to, and have multiple devices hardwired onto it, which is pretty cool. It would be crazy. I mean, it'd be stupid expensive real quick. 35 gigs of data disappears. I mean, I do that in a day. From just one computer. But that can disappear pretty quick. But 35 gigs at $85 a month, that's a lot of money. There's a lot of downs here. The device sounds awesome. The service isn't ready.
Yeah, because it's only in here in New Jersey. There's 0, and other parts of the area, and in PA, I don't think there's any. No, I don't think there is any. So, but yeah, it's great.
The good stuff is only in 35 cities,
right?
Only in parts.
In parts, right? Keyword parts, exactly.
Yeah. Verizon can't cover an entire football stadium,
right? Because
with the good stuff.
Because it's in parts.
Yeah, and by parts they mean the concession stands and not the bathrooms,
right?
Because that is how poorly the installation in the NFL arenas has gone. Luckily, there's no people in the NFL arena, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
That was a lot of expense for nobody to be there. Aw. I like your noise better. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Apparently, they used to do that to Abram at a laptop mag all the time when he'd tell a joke that didn't land. The entire staff would get him with a womp womp. Oh, Cherie is mean, and I love her.
All right. Excellent. All right. In other news this week, and this is from Geek News Central and contributing editor Jen Thorpe, who's reporting that Sony announced that PlayStation 5 will launch in November. The price starts at $399 for the PS5 Digital Edition and $499 for PS5 with a Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. This puts the PlayStation 5 slightly higher than Microsoft's XS, which is priced at $299. Starting on,
however, it's important to note in that difference that the Xbox Series S is a lower powered device and all digital versus the PS5 all digital, which is the same device without the optical drive. So that $100 price difference is, we talked last week about the possibility of a Series V or some sort of a middle tier.
Yep.
This is that Series V.
Okay.
So they don't have an S, an equivalent of an S. They have an equivalent of a device that hasn't been announced and may not exist, that elusive Series V.
Right.
So that's important. There is not an underpowered device like there is in the Series S. They're both high-powered devices. One doesn't have an optical drive. And that's the only difference between them.
Right. And also with the two different consoles, either digital only or disc-based version. The global rollout will continue on November 19th with launches throughout the rest of the world, including Europe, Middle East, South America, Asia, and South Africa. And I saw a report earlier this afternoon that the pre-order sold out at Walmart.
Everywhere. Within about a half hour. All the pre-orders for everybody were sold out. Amazon, and we'll talk about this on the show this week probably. Amazon oversold their pre-orders.
I saw that.
And they sent out an email to people saying, you may not get it on the 12th. People are pissed. But this is the same kind of a disaster of a rollout as what Apple did this week with iOS 14, where they didn't give anybody a heads up. They're like, hey, by the way, tomorrow you'll be able to get iOS 14. And developers were like, what? What? You always give us a week heads up. Whoa, we're not ready. Sad story. Tomorrow. This is the same thing. It sounds like they kind of almost sprung this even on the retailers. They're like, hey, by the way, today pre-orders go into effect, and everybody's like, what? How many are we getting? Shh, don't worry about it. And so everybody put these pre-orders up at staggering times. Walmart had theirs up first and sold out almost immediately. Then Amazon had theirs up twice, which was the problem. I think the second one was a mistake. Best Buy, GameStop sold out almost before the page was up. But they were all staggered. They started at different times. It was just an absolute disaster of a rollout. And I think the actual availability is going to be worse. I don't think if you didn't pre-order it, I don't think you're getting one this year. If you weren't in that first 30 minutes, I don't think you're getting one in 2020.
Yikes.
That's my prediction. If it's supposed to come out November 12th and Amazon's already saying we oversold ours, no way in another 30 days they'll have enough stock to put them on shelves. I don't think there's a way it's possible. I think if you didn't get a pre-order, you're not getting one this year.
Well, like I said, I'm not much. I want to get. Yeah, I was leaning towards, if it was me, definitely I would jump on the Microsoft. I mean, with Sony, but I just it's tempting. But I like what I see. I like what the Xbox is offering. So if I was going to jump in the gaming world, for me, I would definitely get into Microsoft. All right. So there's other news this week. I'm gonna put in the show notes because we're gonna be running long.
Yeah.
So there's news from about Google, Sony announcing a new Xperia. There's a new Google Fiber plan.
Raise your hand if you knew Sony was still making Xperia phones. I was shocked to find that out.
Yeah, and I was going to purchase one, but I wasn't. But I'm not really happy because their OS updates and everything else are very non-existent. So, so there's also news from Google Fiber. Comcast is providing Wi-Fi to low-income students. Awesome.
Good to hear.
Amazon is opening more than 1,000 small warehouses. Amazon is also set to announce new devices. So
they also showed off their Blimp drone delivery service, which is terrifying to watch if you've seen the video.
I saw that.
It definitely looks like an alien invasion.
Yep. And there was a lot of talk of that. People that I work with were saying, did you see that video? And I'm like, yeah, I saw the video.
Yes, it's terrifying. Those people are going to shoot those things out of the sky for sure.
Yep. Also, in the news, Lyft is offering half-price rides to the polls.
They did this last time too. I think it's a great thing.
Yep. Also, Uber wants to help you register to vote, and also wants to feed you as well.
There's a big banner in Uber Eats that says that with a link to register to vote.
Yep,
they're big on this.
Yeah, and I'll have the link, all the show notes in the show notes. We'll have a link in the show notes for all the news stories this week. So in video streaming news, this is what we're going to talk about, finishing up the week. CBS All Access will become Paramount Plus early next year, as Viacom CBS wants to take all their series under a single streaming banner. This is showing from it being reported that it's signaling the culmination of a on-again, off-again relationship between Viacom and CBS, both of which have been operating proprietary streaming platforms before finally merging in 2019.
I wrote a timeline of the relationship between CBS and Viacom when they came together last year.
Mhm.
It is the weirdest back and forth relationship between two companies I've ever seen in my life.
Mhm. You're right.
They're together, they're apart. Viacom owns CBS, CBS owns Viacom. We're gonna spin outdoor advertising off to its own division, to its own company. We're gonna call it CBS Outdoor. Nope, we're gonna call it Viacom Outdoor. Oh, we're gonna buy it back again. We're gonna, oh my God, make a decision. And I think this signals that they've made a decision.
Yep. And I'm not really. I see. I have CBS All Access under Amazon Prime, and Paramount already has a network. Paramount Network is all used to be Spike TV, which used to be Esquire Network, which used to be back in the day. Oh, I can't remember the name of the other network. Oh, it's been so long. Was it
G4?
G4? That's it. G4. You're right. I knew that name was going to come to me eventually. It has been. I mean, it's like, so. This is like, why would? I mean, to me, it's like not. I guess it's confusing to me. When there's a Paramount Network, and I'm like, if I go to Paramount Plus, I'm thinking that's going to be Paramount Network.
Well, so here's what I think has happened. First, CBS All Access makes it sound like it's only CBS content, which it's not.
No,
and most young people hear CBS and think old people. So their target demographic has not been interested in the platform because of its name. CBS All Access sounds like TV shows for old people, whereas Paramount, people hear the name Paramount and they think films. They think big name, big budget films, including the Star Trek films.
Right.
So the name Paramount, I think, weighs better than the name CBS in their target demo, which is young people, because CBS sounds like shows for old people. It's NCIS. I'm not interested in watching NCIS. My dad does. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
But therein lies the problem. Sure, CBS gained a little bit away from that with The Big Bang Theory, but that's gone, and the image has reverted right back to what it used to be. So putting it under the Paramount name and then starting to bring in the other products under the family, the Viacom products. I think that's a great idea. It's what Disney has been doing with Disney Plus / Hulu, is bringing all of the Disney and Fox brands, the Lucasfilms, the Marvel, all of the brands that Disney owns under a single or a pair of umbrellas. And that's what Viacom is trying to do here.
Okay.
I said probably 9 months ago that when these two came together, I told Abram, CBS All Access changes names. I don't know what it becomes, but I bet Comedy Central and BET and all of those other brands that Viacom owns will all come under one umbrella. I wasn't expecting Paramount to be the name. I suspected that it might have been Viacom, but it is what it is. They chose a name, and I think it's better than CBS. I think just about any name for the demographic is better than CBS.
And I guess maybe in hindsight is 2020, Paramount is Paramount. Like, the more you know. Ding.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So the word itself even means better than, bigger than.
It's exactly. So it's name recognition, and and for the longest time, and we're speaking about old people, MTV back in the day, I didn't know, for the longest time I didn't know that CBS owned them because it was under
Viacom owned them. Sometimes CBS was involved.
See there, and that's where they and hence the confusion.
Yeah.
And it was, from what I understood, MTV Networks back in the day was MTV Networks that owned VH1 and Nickelodeon,
Comedy Central,
right? So, but then
Viacom picked up MTV Networks, and so then Viacom owned that, which meant that they had all these other networks. BET, for example, that hadn't originally been part of MTV, but all got to work together And so all of that content now gets to come under a Disney Plus style service, whether it be Viacom or CBS or Paramount. It can all be housed. Showtime. God, Showtime, I think, is in there.
Yep, Showtime is in there. Yep.
So they could put Showtime back catalog shows under Paramount Plus, or they could get rid of Showtime Now. Go. Whatever it's called. That's not a great sign. I have no idea what it's called. That's when you know that streaming fatigue has kicked in. This is my job, and I have no idea what Showtime streaming service is called.
It's just Showtime.
Is it just Showtime?
It's just Showtime. Yeah.
I thought there used to be a thing, like a tag after it, but whatevs. Maybe it'll be like HBO Max, where even the actual Showtime proper could fall under it. I think there's a lot of potential, and when you factor in Pluto TV, the idea that the company will have a Peacock style service where some content is free and other stuff falls behind the paywall. It's working real well for Comcast.
Right. Well, also too, what they have with Comcast, with NBC Universal, they have Peacock. So
that's what I was saying. With Peacock, you've got a free tier, you've got 2 paid tiers. With this, you've got Pluto, which is a free tier. Then you could have Paramount Plus, possibly with 1 or 2 tiers, just like Comcast has with Peacock. I think it could be a real success. Yeah.
And I still have to. That reminds me, I have to still. I have it downloaded. No, excuse me. I do have it downloaded per recommendation from you. So I am definitely. Yep, I have it.
Which, by the way, officially available, coming to Roku.
Yep, I saw that too. I saw that too.
Announced today after Comcast said that they would pull all of the Comcast apps from Roku if they couldn't have Peacock, which meant NBC was going to go away. And Roku's like, nope, you Peacock, come on. Whoop.
Right. And that was part, and you know what? That was part, and I was working on a lineup, and that was part of that was going to include that. And it is just,
too much stuff this week.
Crazy week.
But there's no way that you can talk about the idea of a multi-tier Paramount Viacom service without talking about the thing that has made that a success recently, and that's Peacock.
Yep.
It's because Hulu didn't make it work. Yahoo Video didn't make it work.
Right.
But Peacock has made it work. In fact, it's thriving right now, which is why there was no way that Roku wasn't going to let it. That they were going to let it get away from them. So, the idea that Viacom could go the same direction and, have Pluto, maybe bring Pluto TV under the umbrella and make it the free tier, and then have a paid or 2 paid tiers above, with and without ads, just like what Peacock is doing. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yep, definitely. And I would love to see, with CBS All Access, because they have some really good, because I watched a few things on there. Like there's a program title called Tuning Out the News, and it's about what's been going on with Trump and Biden and what have you. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. It's really funny. All right. Very good. All right. Next up do you need help with your tech this week? Over on, and I'm going to pull up my screen. There we go. All right. Over on the best on AndroidCentral.com, the best video editor for Android. You can word it to record and edit videos right from your phone. And again, there's a honking ad. Oh, I can't stand these pop-up ads. Oh my goodness. I'm all for ads, but my goodness. I agree. I mean, look at this.
I agree. Adobe Premiere Rush as number 1. Absolutely.
Yep. I have that downloaded also.
Danielle and I literally used Adobe Premiere Rush at CES 2019 to film and edit the video when we were giving away stuff for subscribing on social media. Rush is what we use to edit it. It is so close to using proper Premiere that I could not believe it. it felt so familiar. So if you are a video editor already, Premiere Rush will feel so familiar. You'll be pissed off because you're dealing with a touchscreen. But I can't wait to use Premiere Rush on my new phone with the stylus. I bet that would be a whole lot better.
Yeah. And there's they mentioned that KineMaster. This is if you're watching the video. I'm just going list here. There's our option Viva Cut, Power Director, which I've used, and it's okay.
It is just as good on the phone as it was on the computer, which is not saying a lot. It does get the job done if you're in a pinch, but you're not going to spend all day in it. I mean, you are, but not because you want to. Aw.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not.
YouTube says no.
Yeah.
Possibly because of screen share. YouTube might be blocking that now.
And insert wah wah. And finally,
I have 2 sound effects on this board that I don't know what they are. I feel like one of them is something similar, but I'm not going to play either of them because I don't know what they are.
And finally, this week, there is go back here, a team led by researchers at the Singapore University of Technology and Design figured out how to 3D print with milk by turning powdered milk into ink. Going back to food.
I was just reading that before the show. They printed like a little couch.
Yes,
it looked like chocolate.
And I'm going to pull up the video right now. Just give me a there we go.
It's so cool. Why they made what is essentially a chocolate couch is beyond me, but it's better than the tooth or whatever is next to it. I don't know that I want an edible tooth. That's bizarre.
I don't know. And there's this.
I don't know what C is. C is a fetus or something.
I'm gonna pull up one more here. There we go.
Yeah.
And D is a
maybe a gear. It looks a little bit like one of those wheel-shaped pastas, but I think E is trying to explain the mysteries behind the pyramids. So the ancient alien guys would appreciate E, and F looks like a bento box, which I'm not gonna lie is pretty cool. I'm all for F. That's the one. That's the one for me because it's already food related,
right?
As opposed to the tooth. I don't know what B is supposed to be. Honest to God, that is so weird. It looks like a tooth.
It does look like a tooth. Yeah.
I don't like it.
And the researchers had a goal of developing a milk printing process that wouldn't require heating the daily product up and destroying some of its key nutrients. They also wanted to avoid adding stabilizers that will be needed for most colder methods of 3D printing. The team, let me go back to there we go. We're going to go to the couch here. The team published a study in RSC Advances on its recipe for milk ink, which involves judicially mixing powdered milk with water to get the right consistency for making 3D objects at lower temperatures. The researchers tested out by successfully printing a tiny for what you're seeing right now on video, or if you're listening on audio, a clover leaf, a fortress, a cone, and a wheel. So I think
okay.
I
a
think
clover leaf. So the tooth must be the clover leaf,
right?
A fortress
is maybe this.
It's gotta be the fetus.
Fetus and
the wheel.
The wheel is here. That makes sense.
I was thinking a gear. So yeah, same general idea.
Same general idea. Yeah.
I was seeing teeth because of the 3D printing process.
Right.
But they don't address E and F at all.
No,
they don't address the pyramid or the bento box.
No.
Okay. Because the pyramid is filled with chocolate, which I think would satisfy the ancient alien guy.
Mhm.
with the bizarre name that I will never be able to pronounce. And the bento box would make just about anybody happy.
Right.
I know can't possibly be what that's supposed to be,
No.
but it's all I can see. It
Right.
absolutely looks like a bento box.
But Scott, this is something that again, with the
I want a 3D
segment,
print with milk. I want a 3D print with milk right now. I would like to know what printer they used, and I am mad that I am not doing it right now, that we are spending our time doing this instead.
Okay.
Honest to God, I want to be 3D printing with milk. That is the dumbest sentence I've ever said in my life.
And this was the episode for me.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is their goal?
Go back.
Like, why did they think, you know what we need to do? We need to make a couch out of milk. And I understand it's tiny. I get it. I know it's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can't go sit on it. I get that. Right. It definitely looks like it's made out of ramen noodles, though. It is very prickly looking.
See your reaction, and that's why I like this. Your reaction. That's mine was last week. Yours was last week. What the. If you missed the last episode, toward the tail end of the episode, so you want to listen to it.
I forgot about that.
So thank you. You said thank you for that. So I'm saying thank you for the. Thank you for the sofa.
The 3D printed sofa. Milk fetus.
Milk fetus.
That's not a fortress.
No,
what a lie. What a lie.
We got robbed.
I mean, honest to God, if anything, it is a cat curled up.
Yeah. Like when you see a cloud and you look at what's it, what's the shape of it? It could be like an elephant or
sure.
So this is like the best. If you're watching the live video and if you want to know or want to give us a guess on what those images are.
It is a 3D printed milk Rorschach test. What do you see? Well, I see a tooth.
And it'll detect how smart or dumb you are.
It's like, okay, so when Apple sent out their invites for the event yesterday, it had this weird swirly thing on the invite.
I saw that.
And there were whole threads going around trying to figure out what it was. And the general consensus was that it was a person in the fetal position. And once you've been told that and you see the image again, you're like, oh my God, that is a person in the fetal position. I can't see anything but that now.
Oh my goodness. This is good. I don't want you or anyone getting haunted by a chocolate.
A white chocolate fetus. or some sort of a ramen noodle tooth. Oh my goodness. This is the weirdest wrap up to a show. Oh my God. I love that we're doing this. This is the best.
I've never laughed more harder. Oh my God, I needed that. I never laughed more harder.
Well, I'm glad that the white chocolate fetus could accomplish that for you.
It wasn't. It's just that really just bring it home, and the inquisitive mind that you have, which I love.
One of the early things that was done with 3D printers was taking sonogram results and 3D printing a model of the baby.
Mhm.
So if that's one of the first things that regular 3D printing was used for, why wouldn't it be one of the first things that milk printing would be used for?
If it's used for if it's used for, it would be kind of cool and weird if they're using this printer to do that, to design a baby, and
here's a 3D model of your baby. Ooh, delicious.
Oh my goodness, I don't want to go off on the rails now because we're going to be
we're heading that direction, friend.
We head off on the rails earlier.
The idea that this is not already gone out of control,
right,
that you think that there's more. And there definitely is, but we've already lost control of ourselves.
We lost, right, exactly. I'm sorry that's something that we were going off the rails in the beginning. We're going to bring it home, going off the rails at the end. So it's all right. It's gone. Oh my goodness! Again, that's why you said thank you for my I'm going to give you thank you for the chocolate fetus.
Favorite sentence of the week.
There you go. I think that'll be the show.
I'm going to thank you for the chocolate fetus.
There you go.
I'm going to tweet that with no context.
Good. Good. And if you have any suggestions on what that image is, let us know. GNCweekly.com/connect. And that is the tech news for this week, for a crazy week of tech news.
Thank goodness.
For Friday, September 18th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode and beginning of the rails and going off the rails in the beginning and the end. Show notes from this week's episode can be found at GNCweekly.com. Also, be sure to check out the latest tech news and commentary from geeknewscentral.com, and be sure to tune in Mondays and Thursday evenings at at geeknewscentral.com/live. Oh my goodness, for the geeknewscentral.com podcast, and then be sure to watch and tune in at gncweekly.com/live Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to like and subscribe to GNCWIR channel on YouTube. We really do appreciate it. You can enjoy a lot of this content, a lot more. Or be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app, including Amazon. And be sure to tune in with Scott and Abram Pilch on FI Refreshing Technology Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern time at plugitslive.com/join us. Comments on this week's episode, including the
okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're gonna be able to make it?
I'm able to make it. Comments on this week's episode, on all the stuff that's been going on. Love to hear from them. Head on over to gncweekly.com/connect. Connect via email, Twitter, or Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Kirk Corliss. Scott is on Twitter at PlugItsLive. Till the next episode of GNC Week in Review. So long.
Ciao.